Welcome to Frost and Sullivan's Growth Podcast series. This edition breaks down highlights from our Frost Radar analysis, evaluating market leaders, innovation benchmarks, and growth potential across integrated cloud communications platforms. We'll spotlight companies to action and explore what separates emerging leaders from the rest of the field. Enterprise communications has spent years moving to the cloud, but the conversation is changing again. Organizations are no longer looking only at whether employees can call, message, meet, or connect with customers digitally. They are increasingly looking at how communications can improve workflows, customer engagement, employee experience, and ultimately business performance. So, what is fundamentally changing in integrated cloud communications, and why is this becoming a bigger strategic conversation for business leaders? Integrated cloud communications is bringing unified communications as a service, contact center as a service, and communications platform as a service into a more connected environment. The important shift is that communications is becoming more embedded into business processes. Organizations are looking beyond standalone tools toward platforms that bring together collaboration, customer engagement, APIs, workflow automation, analytics, and integrated services. That is moving the conversation from simply connecting people toward improving how work and customer interactions actually happen. And that shift toward business processes is becoming even more important as AI enters the picture. We are seeing AI move quickly from assisting users toward orchestrating more complex activities across communications workflows. At the same time, enterprises are becoming more selective about technology spending and expecting clearer returns. How is AI changing what organizations are expecting from their communications platforms? AI, and particularly agentic AI, is expanding the role of these platforms. Rather than operating as another standalone feature, AI is increasingly being embedded across communications workflows to support automation, analytics, and contextual decision-making. This is also raising expectations. Organizations are looking for measurable outcomes, not simply more AI features. That is increasing the focus on where AI can improve productivity, customer engagement, workflow efficiency, and the overall value organizations are getting from their communications investments. That focus on outcomes leads directly to another major shift: convergence. If AI is becoming more deeply embedded into workflows, maintaining separate environments for employee communications, customer engagement, and programmable communications can create unnecessary complexity. So how is the convergence of UCaaS, CCaaS, and CPaaS changing the competitive opportunity? Platform convergence is creating an opportunity to orchestrate employee and customer workflows more seamlessly. Organizations are increasingly prioritizing integrated platforms that unify UCaaS, CCaaS, and CPaaS rather than treating them as separate technology domains. For providers, that is creating room to expand beyond core communications into customer engagement, workflow automation, employee experience, and broader digital workplace capabilities. It is also strengthening opportunities for differentiation and higher value customer relationships. But convergence alone does not necessarily make a platform flexible. Enterprises still operate across different applications, workflows, industries, and technology environments. That makes the ability to connect communications directly with the applications people are already using increasingly valuable. Where is programmability fitting into this evolution? Programmable communications is becoming foundational because it allows organizations to embed voice, messaging, video, and other communications capabilities directly into business applications and workflows. Flexible APIs, software development kits, low-code tools, and industry-specific templates are simplifying how these capabilities are being deployed. For providers, this is expanding the role of the platform while also creating opportunities for greater customer value, ecosystem participation, and platform stickiness. So we now have AI increasing intelligence, convergence bringing capabilities together, and programmability embedding communications deeper into the business. That also means competing on a checklist of calling, messaging, meetings, or contact center features is becoming much harder. What is beginning to separate leading providers as the underlying technology matures? Differentiation is increasingly extending beyond the product itself. Leading providers are combining open platforms and developer ecosystems with migration support, managed services, analytics, adoption programs, and customer success capabilities. The customer lifecycle is becoming important as well, from migration and onboarding through adoption, optimization, and renewal. Providers that connect these stages with measurable outcomes are creating stronger opportunities to improve retention and expand customer value over time. And that brings us back to where we started. Integrated cloud communications is no longer only about modernizing communications infrastructure. It is becoming connected to how organizations automate work, engage customers, support employees, and measure the value of technology investments. As business leaders consider where this is heading, what is the most important takeaway? According to Frost and Sullivan, organizations investing early in AI-powered communications platforms, open and interoperable ecosystems, and outcome-driven service models are positioning themselves to improve workforce productivity, strengthen customer engagement, and build greater operational resilience. The opportunity is increasingly coming from connecting these capabilities rather than treating them separately. As communications becomes more intelligent, programmable, and integrated into business processes, the organizations and providers creating measurable business value are strengthening their position for long-term growth. Thanks for joining us on Frost and Sullivan's Growth Podcast. For access to our research, competitive benchmarking, and best practice frameworks, head over to frost.com or email transformation.growth@frost.com. We'll be back soon with more to help you stay clear-headed and growth-ready.